Welcome to Transforming Lives with your host, Helen Henry. And with Transformers, Arthur Henry and Alexis Hayes.
Welcome to another episode of Transforming Lives. I am your host, Helen Henry. In order to transform your life, you have to make necessary changes. It all begins with you. Today, my guests will share with you some steps to transform your life. But before I get started, I will share a little about her. Her mission and purpose is to elevate and motivate with purpose, to transform yourself and become empowered, to expand your wings, and be the best version of yourself with gratitude, kindness, leadership, love, and excellence. This young woman brings over 20 years of experience working as an educator, an assistant director, mentor, and coach. Joining us this week on Transforming Lives is confidence strategist and my friend Nadeje Montes. Nadeje, it's my pleasure just to have you on Transforming Lives.
Thank you so much. It is a pleasure as well to be here. I appreciate that.
Yes. And we welcome you. Building trust does not happen right away. The key to building trust is to be honest. Honor your commitments, admit when you are wrong. So today, Nadeje will be sharing on building trust and building resilience. And we want to hear more of this.
Well, I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much. What I'm trying to do is see how I could share here, but I'm not seeing the share button. That means I don't have access to it here. So what I'll do, I'll just go over my slide and hopefully, if possible, I'll send the link and you could share it with your community, if that is okay. All right.
Sure.
So we are talking about building trust and we're talking about building resilience. And what I'm going to be sharing with everyone is 5 ways that you could build trust. There are many other ways, but we are focusing on 5 key ways to build trust and also build resiliency. So for those of you who are wondering who I am, thank you, Helen, for saying it. I am a confidence strategist. I am a personal and executive leadership coach, and also I'm an educational specialist. So I do trainings, I provide consultation, and I do coaching as well. And who I serve are people who are executives who are struggling with managing ups and downs in their businesses, and they're trying to figure out how to build that confidence and strategize around it so they can show up without feeling burnout, without feeling overwhelmed, but show up, standing up, and being the leader that they need to be for their company's value and also for themselves. So they are learning to say no when no is necessary. So what we are talking about when we talk about building confidence or building trust, actually, and building resilience, it's understanding what it is. What is trust? When we talk about trust, why are we learning or talking about building trust? And why are we talking about resilience? So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the importance of trust Because in everything we do, we need to build trust, but we need to start with building the trust within ourselves first. And of course, how to overcome adversities, because to become resilient, we face adversities in our lives. And those adversities, they come in many different ways. Some of them come in a way where you are dealing with family adversities, or it could be work adversities because there are challenges everywhere. It could be personal adversities because you're dealing with finances, you're trying to manage your finances or manage your other abilities that you have in your life. So these are things that you're trying to figure out. It could be relationship, or it could be your relationship in your church, you and God as well. So how do you know how to build the resilience in order to overcome that? And of course, you are also learning about developing positive relationship as you're building trust. And that's where at the end, we go into building trust. So when we talk about trust, what are we saying? To gain trust, you must give trust. But you must give trust to yourself. And you probably have heard people talk a lot about self-trust. And when we talk about self-trust, what is it exactly? And why do we talk about self-trust? Well, if you are someone who struggles with allowing other people to come to you, being vulnerable, being open, talking about things that are, out of your comfort with others, in order to do that, there's a certain trust that you have to build with that person, right? So it is important for relationships to be actually built on trust. When you're able to trust yourself and you're able to trust everyone around you, whether it is your husband, your wife, or your children, whether it is colleagues or best friends, the trust that you are building amongst your environment. So trusting yourself and others is not just something that can be done like that, because it's a process. So when I usually say it's not a done deal, okay? It takes time. You need to know who you are and then get to know the person that you are learning to trust. So as you are learning to do that, it's not only the say, but it's what you do, what you say, what you value. So trusting equals your core values, what you identify yourself to be, and the things that you say. And you probably have heard the wording when people say you walk the walk, right? So as you say it, you actually do it. That's putting that building and trust in yourself. And then for other people, when they see you, they can say, you know what, I really hone into that person. I like the fact that they are very trustworthy. And it's not something you have to force yourself to do. It's genuinely done and it's authentic. So building trust is actually a way of living. It is actually a way to be your best version, and then it's actually a way to be authentic.
I like that. What I want you to elaborate a little on, Nadeje. We talked about so much what trust is. Can you elaborate a little about honoring your commitments?
Absolutely. And I like this question because just like I said, when you are building trust, in order to gain somebody's trust, you have to give trust, right? So when you're honoring your commitment, that's giving trust. That's what it is. And it's you saying to yourself that you are accountable for the decisions that you are making. It's taking that responsibility behind the decisions that you make. So accountability, it's honoring your commitment, standing for the things and saying it and doing it. It is you standing up and honoring your commitment. It's when you go and you say you are supporting the world and you actually go ahead and support the world by what your mission and your statement and your values, your core values represent. that's honoring your commitment. So I really like how you put it, because we hear that all the time, that, I have to honor my commitment. But what are you doing to honor your commitment? Do you come true to yourself? Do you believe in yourself? Do you believe in your capacity and capabilities? So I would say it is exactly what it is. You give the trust in order for you to gain the trust. And what you say, you do, you value, you actually stand behind it. And that's how you honor your commitment.
And that's also admitting when you're wrong.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Because, we are human beings. And in anything that we do, we try to always find ways to sweeten things around when we know things are not what they are. We go around and we try to justify something. We don't have to justify when we are true. We just lay it out as it is. It's going to hurt, certain things that we say to people. But if we know that it's going to help them progress in life, then we have to tell it as it is. And a lot of time we go around bushes, we justifying into things just because we don't want to hurt others' feelings. Not realizing that when we are true and honest, yes, some feelings are going to get hurt. But at the end, the joy is going to come in with some, you know what? I really valued the truth that you said when you came to me about what happened. When and you find that a lot, even with children. If you find your children doing something they're not supposed to do and you cut them in between that, for them to come in and say, you know what, Mom, I'm sorry. I know I was wrong from doing it. And actually, I'm taking that. It's my fault. That's big. And when we are able to value that, when we are able to accept that we can actually do that, that's when the process begins. It's being able to accept, being able to value what we say, and being able to actually stand behind what we say as well. So what I look into is that the approach that you have, having a smart approach, find a way to simplify your thoughts, and that would be a good way. It's a good approach, because when you simplify your thoughts, you no longer have to find ways to justify things. You no longer have to find ways to come up with some answers that probably not even relevant. So in order to be best and amplify our trust, build that trust and build the resilience, we have to simplify our thoughts. We have to just accept what did not work and value it, embrace it, and actually be okay to say it's my fault when you are at fault.
So interesting. And as you said, valuing others are so important. And when you value others, you value yourself as well. So can you share a little more about this building trust before we get into the deep part of resilience?
Well, when we are building trust, there's also understanding and knowing our own inner thoughts, because we have thoughts that are very loud. And what they do, they cause us to have very negative critics on our own selves. So when the inner critics come up, they are very loud. And they put you at a place where you struggle. You struggle with your voices, those ideas and those thoughts that are in your head that are still going and pondering on your head. They come in and they're like, you know what? I'm here to stay unless you change the way you think. And once you start doing that, and that's when you start seeing that you begin to change, you begin to accept, you begin to embrace who you are. But why those critics are so loud, it's because They are there to create fears. They are there to bring doubts. They are there to make you think that you are not capable, you're not good enough. They are there to make you think that you are not trustworthy, right? And then you start feeling embarrassed. You start feeling like you have to separate yourself. You feel disconnected with everyone. And that's where the challenge, it comes in really hard on you, because you have all these thoughts that are saying, you know what, you need to work on yourself. You're not worthy. You're not trustworthy. People don't believe in what you say. And then you actually start believing it. And remember, whenever we believe into something, whenever we think about something first, and then we continue to linger around that thoughts, those thoughts, they become our realities. So in order to eliminate that, we need to face that. We need to face the challenge and call those thoughts for what they are. They are threats, and they are there to cause you to lose trust within yourself. So building trust requires for you to kind of tune down those loud voices that are in your head, just so you can start building who you are, understanding who you are, knowing who you are, and embracing who you are. So from that, we go into overcoming adversities. And when we're talking about overcoming adversities, that's where we go into the realm of resilience, right? Because we know when we build resiliency, we are building resiliency because we want to cope with situations in our lives that have really been hard on ourselves, that really made us feel like we were nothing. Like we just talked about the inner thoughts, those fears, misconceptions, things that are coming in and making as threats. So they come in and they're pounding on you. Now you stand and you're like, oh no, I suffered long enough. Now it's time for me to stand up, stand on my ground, and be the person, the new version of me. That person who's no longer taking, anything, everything people say to make me feel low of myself, or even my own self when I talk negative to myself. So that's you coping with challenges, that you building strength, that you're saying to yourself, I believe in myself. I'm worthy. I trust who I am. And you are overcoming adversities because now you could stand against all odds and say, I am strong. I embrace who I am. I love nature. I love people around me. My environment is free. There's so many things you start saying about yourself to yourself as well that are no longer negatives, but they are positive. They are positive reinforcement that are pushing you now to build that resiliency that you need to have. So what you need to do when you are overcoming those adversities, you need to first recognize your mistakes. Because recognizing mistakes is good, and good way for you to build trust. But it's also a good way to cope with, yourself and building resilience. Your thoughts and your perceptions of yourself. Respect that. Respect those ideas that you have. Embrace them. Now, the other thing is that set expectations for yourself. It's okay to have expectations. It's okay to have high expectations. What I always tell people is that when you're building resiliency, now you build that expectations. You set it up for yourself, not for others or on others. What we do have as human beings is the tendency to always have high expectations on others, what we expect others to do for us or with us. And when it doesn't go that way, we get upset, right? We become a whole different person. We get disconnected. We no longer want to be friends. But that's not what it is. The expectation has to be set for yourself because you're setting grounds, you're setting rules and boundaries. And that's what it is. So You're no longer bringing your values down. You are building your values by setting, set rules and ground rules for yourself and actually embracing who you are. And at the end, you want to also identify your strengths and your weakness. And that's part of building resiliency. When you are able to identify your strengths, you are able to identify your weaknesses, you are growing wings. You now can stand up. You can go into a large room and speak out loud and people can hear you. You can actually make decisions and actually others follow you. You can be that leader that you never thought maybe 2-3 years ago you would have never seen of yourself or thought of yourself. But once you start building and overcoming those challenges that you had faced, what happened? You grow wings, you become different person, you learn differently, you face your inner thoughts that we talked about earlier, and actually you're able to stand on firm ground.
Oh, I love it. I love it, yes. I love it. I always tell my young men, my children, that always to focus on what they enjoy doing, what they love, and don't listen to the negative of what's going around in the world, but to have a positive mindset. And you spoke so much about what the world needs to do to have that trust, because a lot of us have this trust issue, especially in dealing with people. So we have to enjoy and focus on the things that we enjoy doing and speak out good words, have good thoughts. So what you are sharing is so much that people need to know. And I want you to go in now into the deep part of building resilience, because when you build resilience, you need to have plenty of sleep. You need to get plenty of sleep. Eat well, exercise. Can you share a little about these, what people need to know?
Well, these are qualities. When you're building resilience, what you need to have first is building positivity around you, because you're going to need to build positivity around your relationships, right? Relationship with families, relationship with friends, relationship with your higher up, whether you believe in God or the sources, whichever that you believe in. You're going to need to build relationship with your own personal selves. And these are qualities, and to building the qualities that with yourself, the positive relationship with yourself, that's what's going to help you set those good examples and good qualities for yourself, right? So what you want to do, you want to always think of how you can improve. What can I do to improve? How can I improve in my life today? What should I do? So improvement, to me, I always say that improvement is core to your personal development. And how do we improve? Do we improve in our personal development? That's where we go in and we change our routines if routines need to be changed. Routines consist of what we do on a daily basis. And they could be the way you eat, the way you sleep, the way you engage with other people, the conversations that you have, the books that you are reading, the prayers that you do, the affirmations that you do on a regular basis. So what you need to learn to do first is let go. You need to first let go of whatever or whomever is not serving you, so you can start building resilience the right way in order to bounce. Okay? Because when you are bouncing back, this is that person who probably yesterday you did not have the energy, but when you decided to build and let go of those things that were holding you back, you start bouncing back. And then you change your thoughts. And as you change your thought, you ask yourself bigger questions. You ask yourself thought-provoking questions. And you say to yourself, you know what? I'm no longer that person who was crying every day. Actually, now I'm standing in front of the mirror. I'm admiring the person I am. I love my smile. I love how short or how tall I am, or how big or how slim I am. You, regardless of the way you are, you accept it. And acceptance is a way to bounce. It's part of building resiliency. So resiliency is not just eat or sleep. It's not just routine. It's the way of life. It's how you're coping with the changes that you are making in your life that's going to help you grow in the future, that's going to help you make better decisions, that's going to help you engage and interact with others and actually love not just yourself, but love others as well.
Yes, that's that's so deep. What you are sharing is what we need to hear. And it all boils down to changing your thoughts and changing the way you think. When you
Yes.
change and have a pattern of getting better, you want to get better. So you want to
Mm-hmm.
live a life of change. And that's how
Mm-hmm.
you change other people as well, by speaking good words into them, good thoughts, and developing, as you said, a good sleeping habit. And these thoughts that you are thinking will help you to overcome the challenges that you're dealing with on a daily basis. Because a lot of us go through so much that we have to learn how to get by. So I want you to share more, because people need to hear, people need
Well,
to know.
sometimes, yeah, sometimes, Ellen, you don't just learn. Sometimes you have to relearn things, you
Yes.
know? And resilience, when we are building resiliency, we are also relearning things. We are relearning how we used to do things. We are relearning the thing, whatever did not, like I said, work well. And we are relearning areas where we failed and we were beating on ourselves. Now, the relearn part is the fact that you're saying to yourself, I understand that I failed, but the failure was to help me grow and become the version that I am now and that I am today. So it's the word that you say to yourself. So change the way you address yourself is very important. So I call it the resilience factors. You need to change the way you address yourself first. And how do you do that? You talk to yourself and care for yourself. You change your inner thoughts, right? You ensure that you don't bring any judgmental thought to yourself. You actually care for yourself. You provoke how you think. You
Yes.
ensure that the questions that you ask yourself are high valued questions, questions that are going to help you make big and bolder move. And
Right.
then from there on, you move to balance. Okay, so balance now, it's what's going to help you set your environment and set ground rules and set boundaries. Because when you have balance, you know what you want. You know how you want to show up in this world. And you also know that you don't want anytime people call on you for you to go, yes, you like a yes, sir, or a yes, ma'am person. No, you want to be able to say no, because no is a word. And when something is not suiting and it's not fitting you, and you know it's not going to help you grow, simply say no, it's not for you. And that's what we need to learn, because what it's creating when you have balance, it helps you build not just trust, but it helps you have that peace of mind. You no longer feel like you have to wander around in your negativity. So you are thinking, you are bringing the values by finding balance for yourself. And of course, the other part that you want to know is how now you identify the triggers, because in everything that we do, there are triggers. Because remember, right, we said we are relearning things. As we learn, we relearn. But there are triggers that can bring us back. So in order to avoid going back, right? So what we need to do, we need to be aware of the things that we say to ourselves. We need to use words of affirmations that are positive words of affirmation. We need to compliment ourselves, embrace who we are, love who we are, bring compassion to ourselves. Don't let those negative thoughts, bad ideas creeps into your mind, because when they creep in, they bring you what we call depression, anxiety, the disconnect with others or with the world. That's what they do. So you need to separate from that. And then the other part of that is what you get to do, which is living life. You need to live life and explore what's in life. Live it to the fullest. Unplug from the wire that's holding you, unplug from things, unplug from family that are not helping you grow, unplug from colleagues that are always pondering on you, unplug from work that are really a stress on you and making you feel like you're not qualified enough. Unplug. And you'll find that once you do that, it will help you come back ready and fueled to tackle anything in this world. And then, like I said, continue to learn to say no, because no is a word. And when you're able to say no, it changes a whole lot of things in your life. And the last thing, and these are the bullets, the 5 bullets that I said I was going to share with you. The last thing is change your old habits to build new ones.
Yes.
Okay? You need to do that by silencing your inner thoughts, by amplifying your confidence, because to build trust, you're going to need confidence. And I know, like I said, it's a process. So build trust, build confidence, build self-esteem, and then become resilient. And also remember, there are times you may relapse. Say to yourself, it's okay, because I am a new person. I'm not the old one that would just stay broken. Now I can pack up after a breakup, smile, and continue at it, and continue to make sure that I'm there for myself. So changing your mindset is very important. And of course, removing temptations. I love doing that by just removing myself from social media at times, because there are times you need to disconnect from social. You need to disconnect just so you could stand still. And I always say stillness brings loud noise too. You would never think that. And these are the loud noise that stillness brings. Stillness brings loud noise that are called clarity noise. That's where you see things better. And then you take actions. So live life to the fullest. Don't give up easily. Just stand for yourself. Stand on your ground. And believe that anything you believe in, anything you speak positive about will work. It will come to fruition.
Yes, yes. Well, Nadeje, you are helping someone today. You are helping someone today. Everyone needs to hear, and as you listen, change brings happiness. With all that Nadeje shared today, change brings happiness. So, Nadeje, before we leave, I can't tell you how I enjoy just listening to you and what you have shared to the world today. And it's important for each and everyone to use everything that she said and spoke today, to use it to change your thoughts and to change your ways. So before we leave, I want you to share with the world how they can reach you.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Well, if anyone wants to connect with me, you could reach out to me on any of the social media, such as Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook under U as the letter U, Slay, SLAY, Confidence. And you could go to my website, which is www.u, letter U, Slay, Confidence. And if you're a LinkedIn person, you could just put on my name, Nadeje, Montes, and you'll connect with me there. I'm in the social media. I'm there to support. And if you're looking for a coach as well, I'm there to bring you that confidence strategy that you need in your life to grow and continue to pursue the dreams that you have for yourself.
Well, we thank you, Nadeje, for joining us on Transforming Lives and sharing all this wonderful stuff about building trust and building resilience. Thank you for joining us again, and hope you will join us another time again on Transforming Lives.
I will do, definitely. Thank you so much, Helen.
Thank you for joining Transforming Lives. You can visit us at www.helench.org. You can also visit our organization website at www.intlrun.org or email Helen Henry at helenjc08@yahoo.com.